look what is here. Ta-da! Yes! My Blendifuls are here. They arrived last night. I have sent my kids off to the park so that I could record this video. I'm going to tell you guys what my first impression is of this new tool that Tati has come up with. We are going to compare it with the DIY Blendiful that I created in my last video. We are going to do a side-by-side application comparison. And in the end, I'm going to tell you guys if I think the $22 that I spent on this Blendiful were worth it or not. The product retails for $18. There is a $3 shipping on it. And then in the state of California, we pay 10% in taxes. So that's what I paid for this little thing. And yeah, I hope it's worth it. So let's get into the comparison. So here's our trusty DIY Blendiful. I used the back side, and after using it, I have thoroughly cleaned it. So you guys can see that it comes out pretty freaking clean. I mean, it's a blanket. It's used to being washed. And none of the seams have come apart because that seems to be the concern of a few of you. The point of using the glue was not to deceive or anything. It was just to do it quickly so that I can show you guys that it is feasible to use a freaking blanket to create a similar sponge. So here is the packaging. I opened the back. I haven't opened the actual package. So beautiful packaging. It's one of my favorite combos, like copper with brown. Maybe I'll do an eye look today inspired by that. And then on the back side it says, what? No harsh lines, Exos Tati. It comes sealed, which is amazing. So I have this here. I have my trusty Triceratops here for the comparison. I shared this with you guys recently. I feel like the collar material is going to be exactly what the Blendiful material is. And I have a third product here. The little dual-sided sponge from e.l.f. Cosmetics, and it has a similar texture. So there you go. This is the teeny tiny one, super soft, definitely softer than mine, but it's new. And then ready Ooh. The OG blend. The fibers on this seem a little bit thicker, or maybe it's the same, I don't know. Maybe the color makes it look thicker, if you see. So first impression, it's very soft, really soft. I can see that there is possibly sponge inside this. I have the microfill, or what is it called, polyfill, which is probably more hygienic, to be honest. But we can always switch it out. It's not a big deal. It's well constructed. It looks pretty spot on to this. Okay, the fibers, they are exactly the same length. If I kind of reverse comb the fibers, you'll see that the length of the fibers is not significantly different. It's pretty much the same. As I told you guys, this freaking thing is at least 6 years old. If you were to use this for 6 years, I'm pretty sure it's gonna end up looking like this. Mine is way bigger. I thought mine was actually going to be smaller, but it's not. Maybe Tati's hands are smaller. I was going by that. Now, this is a much finer material. I think like the back of the Triceratops is more like it. For some reason, I kept on thinking that the fibers on this are going to be shorter. So let's do one side and one side. Ready for it? I am. I should point out that this is like slightly damp, like very slightly damp. I'm pretty sure I can still use it for everything, but it's like slight bit damp. One of you guys did mention that you want to see a comparison with the Juno sponge. I mean, I think the viewer kind of felt deceived that I compared my DIY with the Juno sponge. So I will be comparing this with my Juno sponge soon. But right now it's going to be with the DIY because I want to see how close I came. Okay, so let's get started. I'm using the e.l.f. Tone Adjusting Primer today. I have to go to an Indian event. I want my makeup to look good. I did notice when I was editing that some of the powders didn't blend as well. And one of you guys, the viewers, got offended by that. I mean, I should be more offended by that. It didn't blend well, and then I was walking around looking like that all day long. Right? Oh, this is not the same, okay? This is very small. The fibers are very small. I can't seem to be able to find my Tarte primer. Okay, we're gonna go with the Tata Silk Canvas instead. let's dip this in. It feels like a very normal foam inside. Now the DIY. The Tati one does feel softer, but again, 6 years guys, 6 years. You see a difference? I'm gonna take my e.l.f. palette, and today I'm gonna go with my Pacifica foundation. This is one of my absolute favorites, and now I have decided to add this to my makeup use up because I'm gonna take out the e.l.f. foundation from it because I wore it recently and I think I was kind of developing some little bumpies. Kills me to dirty sponges and products. Okay. Oh no, I should have put it on my face first. Okay. Anyways. By the way, I bleached my face today after a long time because I want to film the electrolysis update. Okay, so here we are with that. I'm gonna repeat the same mistake that I did, which is pick up the foundation with this. Should have done some color correction. I was going to do it, forgot. So since creating this, I have used my DIY twice, and I do think this is a very convenient tool, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what I'm expecting to see, but I don't see any difference between the two sides. Do you guys see any? Alright, I'm going with my Pacifica concealer. I absolutely love these products. Okay, let's do some cream contour and bronzer. Let's blend this. Someone was very offended by my makeup in that video as well. Like, go watch some beauty videos. And I was like, okay, I'll watch some. Okay, let's do this guy. I mean, do you feel offended if you see someone not doing good makeup on camera? Especially if the video is not about doing makeup? Because I thought my video was about DIY. I don't know why that person was so offended. Let's do the setting part with my Bella Pierre powder again. I love this concealer. Oh, I forgot to blend the other places. I have filmed an entire video without blending the neck contour, you know. And Raw Beauty Christy just did it. So, we live life, guys. We are real people living real life, making real mistakes. DIY side. OG Blendiful side. Let's do the powders. One thing I did realize in the previous video, that the bronzer, this one went on too heavy with this. So if you're using like powders like these, I think you need to go with very light hand. I think I did go very heavy handed. I mean, the brush side, if you see the previous video, looks so much better. Next blush, I'm gonna use the same corner. I like this angle on the Blendiful. See how it perfectly fits my cheek? Yeah, I like that. Mine doesn't have that nice cheeky, well it does I guess. Okay, I'm gonna go with the Juvia's Place Heroin Glow. Let's use like it folded. Ooh. Same way, gonna fold this. Okay, so the OG seems to have applied the highlighter better than the DIY. All right, so here is the final look, which is inspired by this Blendiful packaging, including the gray lettering that is on the back. That's what I've used in my crease. I don't think that color looks very gray on me though. It does look gray in the pan. It just looks kind of brown. But anyway, I actually went back in with the highlighter with my own sponge. I think I actually didn't apply it properly in the first place. I mean, I didn't pick up enough in the first pickup. So after doing that, I think it's kind of equal now. My skin is a little bumpier on this side, but I still feel like this looks much smoother. So what are my final thoughts? I think this comes pretty close, though this one is softer. It's slightly firmer because it has a firmer sponge inside compared to the polyfill that's in here. But this one freaking costs $2, $0 if you already have the supplies. A lot of people were unhappy that I used the glue. If I were to do it again, I would stitch it. But honestly, it doesn't even touch your face. Like the glue is at the edges and all the edges are turned in, so it doesn't really touch your skin at all if that's your concern. This one is very well constructed. I have to give her that. It looks very pretty. As you can see, just after one use, the fibers on even the Blendiful have started looking more and more shaggy like my DIY, and I can pretty much say with confidence that you cannot prevent that from happening. I haven't washed this even a single time. Once I wash it, I'm pretty sure the differences are going to reduce. I would definitely add a sponge instead of the polyfill inside. I have sponge at hand. I could not, for the love of God, find it that day. I did not want to go to a store to buy more supplies. Having said that, now what are my thoughts about those who want to just purchase this and wondering if it can replace all your other beauty tools? I feel like this worked beautifully for all the liquid products. The primers, the foundation, the concealers, and then it did a great job with the setting powder as well as the highlighter. So for all those products, I'm going to give it 5 stars. For the blush and the bronzers, I feel like it has nice contours, but I honestly would prefer to go in with my brushes. I'm a person of color and I usually buy higher pigmentation blushes and bronzers and I need them. With brushes, it is much easier to kind of control your pressure into the pan as well as when you're applying it on your skin. Because this thing is in such close proximity with your skin, it's very easy to kind of go in very hard, as I did in my initial video with the DIY, and then end up with more blotchier look. I have to say that throughout the application, I kept on thinking that I wanted to reach for my brushes to kind of smooth everything out, but I resisted the urge and we stayed with these. I just went with very light hand. So if you are, planning to just use this, I would suggest that go with very light hand with blushes and bronzers especially. So for those two, I'm going to give this a 3-star because it's kind of hit or miss. Now, in terms of the price, I feel that it is very overpriced for what it is. It is very similar to the e.l.f. sponge. It's exactly the same. Like it has the same thing inside. There's no difference. The material is exactly the same. If you try to vacuum it, there's absolutely no difference other than this being larger. I'm not sure if there are larger puffs available on Amazon. If I find those, I will link them in the description box below. But this one comes for free with a $3 or $4 setting powder. So given that, I feel like for $18, it is expensive. But for travel, this would come in very handy because it's very easy to pack. It's just a single tool. It does your entire makeup in just one tool. It does get dirty, as you can see. So if you're traveling for more than like 2 days, because it has 2 sides, I don't know how it will work out. Tati does say that it dries within a day. I don't know. My puff sponge can stay slightly damp the second day. And I don't know if it is slightly damp how it applies the powder products, because this one is slightly damp today and I could feel that the application was slightly harder than when it was completely dry. So you might have to purchase multiples of these, but you can see it's so easy to travel with. The teeny tiny little sponge, so cute, very cute. Exactly the same size as the e.l.f. sponge, except for the pointy end. So I don't know, maybe, you know, if you carry both of them, you can kind of alternate between the two, and that way, you know, maybe just keep this one for your foundation and all the liquid applications. That way you won't have that problem of having your powder puff wet the next day. That's what I'm trying to say. And then one of you guys seemed very upset that I posted a comparison between my DIY and my Juno sponge. My Juno sponge is my favorite foundation and concealer application tool. This is something that I have never thought about, so I wanted to see how these two compare. And I thought I had mentioned it very clearly in the titles as well as on the thumbnail, because I hate clickbaits, okay? Second thing, I have to say that yes, I use fabric glue on it. I have washed this product twice so far, very thoroughly, using the little, you know, soap. You can use any soap for this. Any hard soap I think works best. And I have allowed it to dry, and I have used it 3 times so far, and I haven't seen any difference in the way the seams are. If they ever come apart, I have the excess glue. I can always stick it back, or I can this time reach a needle and thread and stitch it back. But I would say this, that if I wasn't pressed for time and I didn't have my kids running around me, I would have whipped out my sewing machine and stitched this one up nicely. So if you have that privilege, or if you have a place, dedicated place for your sewing machine, stitch it. Stitch it. You know, that's definitely going to increase the durability of your DIY. But again, this is a freaking $2 product. And if you stitch it, you don't even have to buy the glue. So it's going to reduce the cost per sponge that you make. But overall, I have to say this is a pretty ingenious product. If you want to support Tati, then go ahead, buy it. Though that feels like an oxymoron. She's a millionaire, and you want to buy a product because you trust her and you trust that the product that she's selling you is good, not to support her. She's not like a battered woman or a woman in need who needs your money. You know, if you're just doing it to feel good, then you might as well send the money to a battered woman shelter, or, you know, give it to somebody in need. You know, take supplies to a local public school. There are kids who are hungry in public school. So I feel like watching your YouTuber's video is support enough. If you want to support them, and if you're planning to buy a product, and if your favorite YouTuber has a coupon code, then using that code is a support enough. You don't have to buy a YouTuber's product just to support them. It's $22, okay? It could be a whole family's meal for the entire day. Having said all that, I think this is a good product. If you're looking for a new blending tool, go ahead, give this a try. And if you have already tried it, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I bought it. I'm gonna continue using it. If my opinion ever changes in future, I'll let you guys know. I wasn't planning on buying this thing initially, but a lot of you guys seem to want to see a comparison between the two. And I was like, okay, then it's worth giving it a try. Plus, I was myself curious about how my DIY compares with this. If I were to make my DIY again, I would stitch the seams, and I would use a foam inside so that it's not as floppy. Mine is floppier, but which also means you can fold it more and more and more. But it does just as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't like it, give it a thumbs down. What's fair is fair, right? Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.